constraints actually breeds creativity, right? You might, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but yeah, if you told someone to just like go, hey, go paint something, you're like, oh, where do I start, right? It's like, well, what? First you need like a canvas size, then you need like a subject matter, and then you can actually start. So actually having boundaries actually gets the creativity flowing. So that's great. If you say maybe come up with some other constraints just for a particular song, just to get an idea. Like I'm only going to make a song using this one synth, all the sounds from this one synth or something, or different are there other constraints on, it's kind of on the spot, but are there other constraints?
It's a good one, actually. I was speaking to R9, another artist that I'm good friends with, and he did that. He limited himself to one synth and created a nice sound design, a really cool track. But time is another good one as well. I like limiting yourself in terms of time. So like, I've got 10 minutes today, going to see what I can knock out an 8-bar loop using these sounds, see what you can do. Nothing materializes, move on to the next one. So time's a good one. Another good one as well is, and this is also a way of kickstarting the songwriting process. And I got this from Simon from the Safety Word when I was chatting with him, and he said that he will roll a dice, a digital dice, or maybe just an actual dice, and then he will. I suppose the dice wouldn't really work, but you can create a digital dice or something like that. Anyway, the idea is that you use that to generate a key and also a BPM as well. So you can, that's another constraint. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to have this thing rolling, bingo. And then, okay, boom, A minor's come out. That's my key. And then obviously tempo within reason. You don't want it to spit out 10 BPM, but maybe something like 8, depending on your genre of music as well, maybe like 80 to 130, 135. And then just randomly have it randomly select a BPM for you. So that's another way that you can look at constraints and think, right, that's my key. That's my BPM to start with. Obviously, I mean, if you want to go, you can further down the line, you could look at like changing the BPM or switching, doing a key change further on. But initially, those constraints, I think, those are two really good ideas.
Yeah, I think another way maybe of phrasing this, and so it doesn't sound as bad, right? Constraint kind of sounds like you're present, but the way I'm hearing is more like you're eliminating as many decisions as possible. So kind of like the Steve Jobs approach to music production, right? Because same thing every day, because there's decision fatigue as a real thing, and it's like the more decisions you have to make, there's like you only have a limited amount of decisions you can make in a day, and then at the end of the day, if you are making too many decisions, you lose your willpower, you lose your mental faculties. So what I really hear you're saying is you're just saying eliminate as many decisions as possible from the process by doing that upfront work or that leg work. What would you say then? Have you gotten anyone have come back with you like, well, aren't you going to run into all your music sounding the same, using the same synths or the same templates, or
not yet. I think with that, it goes back to what I said earlier, is you use that as like your sketch pad. It's kind of like having imagine you're an artist and you've got your favorite, I don't know, colors or something. Colors might not work. Maybe tools, your favorite pencils or something, and like then you use that to get the idea down, and then you replace them further down the line. I think it also, like, to counter to that as well, is if you are writing an album or an EP, you want some continuity across your sounds. Obviously you don't want everything sounding the same, but I think it's quite useful if you've got an EP or an album that you've got like a consistent maybe kick drum sound, a consistent snare sound, maybe a consistent bass sound with some fluctuations and variations. But I think that consistency can certainly help if you're creating a larger body of work. But going back to your original question, I think it just comes down to, like, if you've fleshed out a sound or a song, then go in and just replace some sounds and augment it with other sounds as well. That would be my sort of answer to that. But again, no one's actually come back and said, actually, it doesn't really work, or as sort of, something along those lines anyway.
I just wanted you to know you can grab my free mixing checklist in the description below. And not only does this walk you through a proven step-by-step system for how to go about mixing a track start to finish. So it walks you through what to start with first, second, third, and so on. But this also has a bunch of handy cheat sheets included inside of it that walk you through how to EQ and compress and mix different elements and instruments in your mix. So if you want to know how to go about compressing vocals, EQing vocals, drums, bass, etc., you have handy cheat sheets in there that walk through the frequency ranges, for each of these different elements and what you might want to consider boosting or cutting. And same thing goes with compression. Walk you through what compression settings you want to use. So this is just a really handy cheat sheet you can have on hand to make sure you're never going wrong when you are mixing. Again, this is completely free in the description below, or go to OrpheusAudioAcademy.com/mixing checklist.